and welcome back to my channel. So a few weeks ago, I don't believe it was last week or the week before, I did a 20 best products from 20 brands in under 20 minutes. And today I'm going to be doing 20 worst products from 20 brands in 20 minutes. So we definitely are going to need to push the pedal to the metal. I got my list here for you guys. I have 5 of the 20 products still, so everything else was either returned or decluttered from my collection. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I do upload 3 times a week, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. If you want to know the 20 worst products from 20 brands in under 20 minutes, then definitely continue watching. Disclaimer, just because these products didn't work for me does not mean that they won't work for you. I'm just mentioning 20 different products that didn't work for me. You know, we all have different skin types and we all have different needs in makeup as well. So again, I'm not trying to put any of the brands down because a lot of these brands I mentioned, they do have products that I do love from their brand. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. So the first product I have on my list is the Revlon Color Stay Foundation, and I put a picture on the screen because I don't have 15 of the 20 products I'm mentioning. I picked up the Normal Dry, and I returned that foundation because it just made my chin really itchy, and every time I wore it, I just felt like my skin was itchy, and I would just kind of tap on my skin because you don't really want to scratch your face to remove the foundation. But I remember my chin being itchy and it looking really dry right here. The other one was Combination Oily, and I'm like, I'm not oily, but I'm not like normal. I'm in between, so I wasn't really sure which one to pick up. So I did end up getting the Normal Dry, and that's what I was getting, was like the itchiness on my chin and on like my cheeks. So I ended up returning that product, so that one's definitely a product that I would not recommend. The next product is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop Primer. I returned that. I actually gave that to my sister-in-law. She says she has really oily skin, so I went ahead and gave it to her, and I didn't like that because it really was hard to apply to this face, and it also crumbled up too. So I have normal combo skin, and I just feel like I'm not the really oily type to have to wear like that kind of primer that's really mattifying. So I got rid of it. It's just not a product that works for me. Next up, Natasha Denona is the Mini Sunset palette. I returned that because the quality on that one is not the same. I have the Mini Nude palette, and that one's really great quality compared to the Mini Sunset. Again, the quality is just not there. I did not enjoy it, so that is a product that I ended up returning, and I wouldn't recommend picking up the Sunset. The Mini Nude is nice. I would recommend that, but the Sunset, no. Definitely pass on that. From Jouer, I tried the Ultimate Coverage Foundation. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it, but I'll put a picture up on it. I just tried a sample of that, and that is just way too much coverage for me. I'm not a full coverage kind of girl. I'm more of a medium coverage type, everyday type of girl, and that is it just looks super heavy on. I had a sample, and my skin looks super heavy. I didn't use the whole sample in one sitting either. Like, I used it 2 or 3 times. It's just a heavy foundation, and I wouldn't recommend, if you don't like full coverage foundations, I wouldn't recommend it. So definitely not one I would pick up in a full size. From Wet n Wild, I ended up picking out the pink mascara. I'm not sure really what it's called. I'll put a picture up again. I don't like that mascara. It didn't thicken, lengthen, it did nothing. Like, it just coated my lashes with mascara, and that's it. I definitely decluttered that, and I will not be repurchasing. Next up, I have Tarte. I have the Shape Tape Foundation, and I'm talking about both of them. The first one was a definite fail. It did not look good on my skin at all. I returned that, and then they kind of tried to redeem themselves and come out with Face Tape, and I tried that out, and I did not like it either. It's more of a full coverage foundation, medium high coverage foundation, and it just looks really heavy. It doesn't sink into my skin. Right now I'm wearing a Maybelline Super Stay Foundation. That one's more of a full coverage foundation, and it doesn't look heavy on. It doesn't look like it's just sitting on my skin. Face Tape definitely did, and I would not recommend it. I just don't like either of the face tapes. They discontinued the first one. The second one isn't great, so again, another foundation I would not recommend. Next up, I have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Volt. I do have it. I have a love-hate relationship with this. At first, when I first used it, I didn't like it, and then I did mention it in a favorites video a few months ago that I really enjoyed a couple of these, but still Bling Boss I don't like, and Dark Magic I don't like either. The formula on these Volt palettes are just not the same as like her original Jaclyn palette that she came out with, Morphe. Like if I had to pick between both of the palettes, I would definitely pick up the original Morphe, and I would declutter this. I'm actually really considering decluttering this. I would actually just like to keep Armed and Gorgeous because I feel like it's the most unique from all four, but even then I don't think I would really use it because it's a lot of orangey shades. They're doing a little construction, so if you guys hear random like bumps and stuff, hopefully you guys can not mind that. But again, I'm thinking about decluttering this. This is just not a great formula compared to the first Jaclyn collab. So from Maybelline, I picked any mascaras. In general, any of the mascaras, I find that Maybelline mascaras are too dry for my liking. I like more drier mascaras. I just find, again, Maybelline mascaras are too wet, and I find a lot of them don't really do much for my lashes either, just because they're so wet. They don't really thicken and lengthen. Like, I love the Essence Lash Princess. Like, I just feel like it really holds my lashes in place, and it thickens and lengthens. It does everything I want. But those Maybelline mascaras, again, the formula, they're just too wet for my liking. From Pixi, I ended up picking this product, which is the Lash Line Ink liner. And I've only used this probably like 5 times, and the times I have used, like right now, it looks really dark and opaque, but when you apply it over eyeshadow, like the shadow kind of coats the liner, and then you can't really use it. It doesn't really create like a really dark opaque line. It's more like a gray line, and even on my swatch, it looks black. It's not gray, so I actually decluttered this. It just, again, when I try using it, it's not opaque, and it just eyeshadow just gets on the tip, and it's just sucks every time I've used it, so I just decided to declutter it, and I wouldn't recommend it. From Essence, the purple mascara. It's like a fiber mascara. I don't like it. It did nothing for my lashes. That one, like, Maybelline was too wet, but that Essence mascara was too dry. I don't know if I had like an old one or what, but it did nothing for my lashes either. I picked it up because Casey Holmes had mentioned it in a video that she really liked it and that it made her lashes long, and it did nothing for my lashes. I wouldn't recommend it. I would probably give it a try again. I ended up decluttering it. I hadn't even had it for a while, and I was like, this is just way too dry. It's doing nothing for my lashes. Might as well get rid of it. From e.l.f., I picked the eyebrow pencil. I'm not sure the exact name of it, but it's kind of like a thicker brow pencil. It's kind of round too. I'm just like, who uses these kinds of brow pencils? I know some people have mentioned it in their favorites videos before, but I just feel like it's not like the ABH Brow Wiz nor the brow definer. It's just kind of like a round brow pencil. I just feel like it doesn't really let you be precise for your brows, maybe just to fill them in, but for an all over like fill in brow and define it, I don't think it works very well. From CoverGirl, I have the Total Tease mascara. I don't like that mascara. It did nothing for my lashes. I actually have it decluttered over here. I didn't like it for myself, so I ended up using it when I freelance. I obviously use disposable mascaras, but here is the wand on it. I feel like it's not all that great for my lashes. It doesn't do much, and it might just be the brush. I don't know. I just don't like this mascara. I wasn't a big fan of the brush, and that just kind of turned me off on all of it. And to be able to use a different wand, to be able to use this mascara is just too much work. Definitely not one I would recommend. From NARS, I ended up picking the concealer stick. I'm not sure if they still have this or not, but I ended up putting it in my last year's project pen, and I was just using it as an eyeshadow primer, and it worked pretty well for that. I don't like it for the under eyes. I already have kind of like drier under eyes, and then using that was just not very hydrating, and my under eyes looked kind of older, and I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't even know if they still have it. From BH Cosmetics, I picked the Carly Bybel first palette. So the first collab she came out with, I don't know if they still have it. I know they've been having some of their palettes at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I loved Carly Bybel. I wanted to support her. That's the reason why I picked up her palette. But unfortunately, like every time I used it, it didn't stay on my lids. By the end of my work day, like I had nothing on my eyelids. It just didn't stay on my lids. And I don't really have that issue. But with that palette, I faded. It looked dull. It wasn't nice at all. I ended up decluttering it. I didn't like it. I got rid of it and I wouldn't recommend it. I just didn't like it. And I didn't even pick up the second one because I was like, the first one didn't work for me. So I'm pretty sure the second one's going to be the same. From Pop Beauty, I picked the Peak Performance Brow Pencil. I do have this. I'm trying to finish it up because I don't have very much left. But this is how much I have left over from this. I don't like this. It's a little too waxy, and I do find that sometimes when I'm putting it on my brows and I go over it again, it kind of takes off what I had just applied. I just feel like it's a little too waxy. It's kind of hard to work with. I just don't really like this brow pencil. Pop Beauty did send this to me, so I wouldn't purchase this with my own money, to be honest. From IT Cosmetics, I picked the Universal Brow Pencil. I don't like that brow pencil either. It's really light. It might just be because my brows are dark. It's not a universal brow pencil. Not everybody can use that universal taupe color. Like, it's not a universal brow pencil. The consistency of it as well, I don't find that it is pigmented enough to really fill in my brows. Like, I have to go over and over and over, like use a lot of product. You can see it on my eyebrows. I just don't like it, and I also wouldn't recommend. From NARS, I picked the Climax Mascara. I tried it a few times and I ended up returning it. The wand was just too big. I don't know, I'm so picky with mascaras, but the wand was just too big. I wasn't really able to get all of my lashes, and then when I tried, I usually coat the top part of my lashes first just because sometimes eyeshadow lands on the lashes, so I want to kind of take it off and then go, you know, the regular way of applying mascara. But it's just too big, and I always found myself like touching the mascara wand onto my lids or down here. It's just too big. I didn't see the big hype on the Climax mascara, so that went back. I'm not one to purchase like high-end mascaras nor liners unless they're on sale. If they're like at drugstore price, half off, you know, I'll pick it up, but like to pay full price, I'm not one to do that. From Becca, I picked the Secret Brightening Powder. I do have this. I just recently declared this from a Shop My Stash. I don't like this powder. I don't see what the hype is on this. Is this in translucent, or it's just #1 Secret Brightening Powder? I don't see the hype on this. It does, I feel like it gives like a white cast, and that's just like during the day. There's no pictures taken. I can only imagine how it'll look like with flash photography and taking pictures at night. Like, if I see a white cast on my face like during the day, I can only imagine how it'll look in pictures. So definitely a product I would not recommend. So I have 2 more products left to talk to you guys about, and they're both eyeshadow palettes. Is Kokie Cosmetics, and a palette that I tried from them that I didn't like, actually decluttered as well, is the Treasure palette. I found that I had to swirl my brush like a lot and kind of use like scratchy brushes to be able to pick up the pigmentation and apply it to my lids. I just don't know, like I just felt like I had to work a lot get the product to my lids. It was just too much work, and I only used it a few times. It was just something I wasn't impressed with, so I ended up decluttering. I would definitely not recommend that one. I do have Peachy Queen, I think it's called, or Peachy Keen. It's like a dupe to the Too Faced peach palette. I do like that one. That one's better quality than the Treasure one. But yeah, I don't like the Treasure one. I wouldn't recommend you guys getting that. And then the last product I picked was the Tarte. I have the Tartelette here, but in general, I'm not a big fan of Tarte eyeshadows. I don't know why. I just find that a lot of the shades just really look similar when I put them on my lids. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Tarte shadows for some reason. I feel like the formula is a little too powdery. Like every time I've bought in a Tarte eyeshadow, I'm not like in love with it. I don't know what it is, I'm just not into Tarte shadows. So yeah, are there any products I mentioned that you don't like, or do you love it? Let me know what techniques you do to be able to make the product work for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!